I don't know if we can ever claim to stop a terrorist attack when you're talking about somebody who is just maniacal and deranged and ready to give their own life. But there are things I think that perhaps could be done. And what I would really be curious to know is what did transpire between him and the FBI? What was the context of those 3 interviews that the FBI did? And I know that the FBI, front and center, has some input on what they might do differently in the future. No way do I want to fault the FBI. I'm sure they're faulting themselves. Here it is. This guy was in front of the FBI 3 times, interviewed 3 times, and yet this act did occur.
You have said you don't support a ban on Muslims entering the United States, obviously.
I do not support a ban on Muslims entering the country.
And you don't support more gun restrictions.
I don't. I'm in the camp that believes that if you restrict guns, the bad guys are going to have guns. Just that simple.
So you think it won't stop them. Here's what Bill Clinton said, though, about what happened on Saturday night in that Orlando club and why he thinks gun control would have made a difference. Here he is.
If the guy had just had a pistol in that nightclub, I don't think anybody believes he could possibly have killed 49 people.
Well, and it was also, you hate to second guess anything, but all these events too are occurring. All these horrific shootings are happening in gun-free zones, where if potentially it wasn't a gun-free zone and that there were a number of people in that nightclub that might have been carrying weapons for self-defense, that it may have lessen the tragedy. And by no means do I want to second guess anything.
So the bottom line is you don't believe that guns are the issue. You have had a message that has resonated with more and more people, Governor, all right? Look, now you're between 9 and 12% in some new polls. Your numbers have really gone up. 15% is the magic number. You get 15%, you're going to be sitting on stage with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in the debates.
Whoa. That might just happen.
Okay, what are you going to do to make that happen?
A unique position that myself and Bill Weld, my running mate, have, and that is that we are fiscally conservative, over the top. We're socially liberal, but it really doesn't matter whether you're socially liberal or conservative, as long as you don't force that on other people. Let people make decisions in their own lives. And then lastly, with regard to our military interventions, I think our military interventions have resulted in the world being less safe, not more safe.
So what do you do if you don't get to 15%, if you're not on that debate stage? What's your strategy?
Well, there's no way to win. There's no way to get elected President of the United States. And the only chance that I have of being elected is to be in the presidential debates.
Some big-name Republicans, as you know, detest Donald Trump. It's a fair word to use, detest. Mitt Romney among them. He says he will not vote for Donald Trump. He's going to write in a name, or he's going to vote for someone else, possibly you. Here's what he told Wolf Blitzer about you specifically.
I'm going to look at what he has to say. His running mate, Bill Weld, is someone who I respect enormously.
Former Republican governor of Massachusetts.
Exactly, and he was a fine governor, a fine friend, a supporter of mine, both in 2008 and 2012. If Bill Weld were at the top of the ticket, it would be very easy for me to vote for Bill Weld for president. So I'll get to know Gary Johnson better and see if he's someone who I could end up voting for.
Have you had any conversations with Mitt Romney?
I have not, but I think that he echoes the sentiment of a lot of Republicans, and I think it's also sentiment among a lot of Democrats. And I don't want to either say that that's elected officials. I mean, elected officials at the end of the day kind of have to line up rank and file. It's too bad that Paul Ryan has really stuck his neck out, if you will, endorsing Donald Trump, and then subsequently having to say that today, talking about the Muslim ban, that it's just not America. Well, it's not America.
So what's interesting, though, with Paul Ryan, do you think that he would ever change his mind? That he'll ever say, no, my conscience does not speak for this, that he would ever change his mind, get on board with someone like you?
Well, one of my strengths is that I tell the truth. And so when you tell the truth, you're able to admit mistakes. I make mistakes also, but I like to think that I fess up to them. So I think Paul Ryan has an opportunity here to say, look, I made a mistake. And I'm not saying that results in an endorsement of me, but Come on. The statements that he's making, he's made 100 statements that would disqualify any other presidential candidate from running, and yet all you have to do is turn the page, and tomorrow it'll be 102.
So Mitt Romney is looking at you, but he mentioned a big reason, though, Governor, that he's not sure about you. And that reason is your support for legalizing marijuana. A lot of your supporters, by the way, they love you for this. Your core group, there's a core that likes it.
Sure.
But someone like Mitt Romney, now that you have all of these very mainstream Republicans now looking around, he's nervous about it. And here's what he said.
I think the legalization of marijuana on a recreational basis and legalization of drugs would be highly destructive to our coming generations and the work ethic of this country. I mean, marijuana makes people stupid.
I would suggest that marijuana, from a medicinal standpoint, directly competes with legal prescription painkillers and drugs that statistically kill 100,000 people a year. There has not been one documented death due to marijuana. That's on the medical side. On the recreational side, I have always maintained that legalizing marijuana will lead to less overall substance abuse because it's so much safer than everything else that's out there, starting with alcohol.
So the bottom line question, though, when he says it makes people stupid, do you agree with that or not agree with that? As someone who formerly used marijuana recreationally.
I do not agree with that as someone who has used marijuana. I do not agree with that.
All right. Well, Governor, thank you very much. I appreciate your time tonight.
Oh, I appreciate yours. Thank you.
Thank you.